Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Houston Moms on the Move. We are bringing you this great new series where we highlight high impact mamas around our community who are doing big things in the workforce and doing big things at home. My name is Megan Clanahan. I am the co-owner of Houston Moms, and today I'm delighted to bring to you somebody who I've known for a handful of years, but we've never gotten to really chat intimately. So this will be fun. Megan Talley, she's the communications manager at Reliant Energy. And of course, we're huge fans of Reliant over here. Megan, it's so good to see you today.
It is wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for having me and excited to talk motherhood and work.
Yes. And so can you share a little bit about your precious family?
Absolutely. My husband and I have been married for 10 years and been together for 15. Started expanding our family about 5 years ago. So we have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and an 18-month-old, all boys. I'm a boy mama through and through here. And we are just chugging along, and it's been wonderful. I work, like you said, at Reliant, communications manager, really handling public relations and communications for the brand, and doing a lot of just corporate communications for our company.
Yes. So I will say it has been amazing to see your family expand and
Expand.
grow.
It's been
I
pretty
mean,
rapid.
it was fast because I think when we
Yeah,
met,
2 years.
childless,
Yep,
and then all of a sudden it was like boy, 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 and
yep.
goodness, they are so precious.
Thank you.
I mean, I know you are so busy, and so um,
Yes, it's a lot, but it's good.
it's a lot. And so, can you talk a little bit about kind of like your daily schedule? What does that look like for you guys? How do you
Yeah.
handle the balance of work life and mom life?
It is interesting because I will say I am not my schedule is not your typical person's because it really all revolves around my husband's schedule. So he is on what is called the DuPont schedule. He works at the plants. And so uh, to try and describe that, like it's very hard. I don't even know like it's basically there's like 4 days on, a week off, 3 nights on, 3 days off, 2 days on, 1 day off, 3 nights on. Like, it's constantly evolving from days to nights. It's
Mhm.
12-hour shifts. There's different days off in between. So, it's really complicated to get used to. We've somehow managed and are thriving, but I always have to check an app to see where he's at, manage where he's at versus where I'm at versus where the kids are at, and so every day does look different. Um, like, for example, so today he's off, he's not on a shift. So he's home, he can help wake the boys up, get them ready, help with taking them to school or picking them up, helping with the baby while I'm working from home or if I'm in the office. But like last week, he's on what they call his hell week. So that's 4 daylight shifts, 12-hour shifts. So he's gone from like 4 a.m. to 5 p.m and then gets home and is beat, right? So he has a couple hours to have dinner with us, and then he's going to bed before I even put the kids down. And so basically those days I'm like a single parent because I'm doing everything from morning routine to nighttime routine and most in between. So it is a lot of balancing and, during those days or also when he's on night shift, I'm always looking toward, like, the end of the tunnel, like, when is he off next? But it is nice because he does get some days off where he can just be home with us, so, yeah,
You kind of have to trade the good with the bad. So you
it
mentioned,
is.
the app. What else do you use? What are some like helpful techniques or things or people you have to help you, your
Yeah.
village, so to speak, that helps you stay organized with the schedule like that?
Yeah, well, there's the app, right? And of course, obviously, just our calendar, communication. I work in communication, so I find it very important to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
You mentioned the village. I wish I could say I had this huge village, and that is what helps me, manage all of my work responsibilities with my home responsibilities. It's just unfortunately not the case. It's mostly myself, my husband. Thankfully, we have my mother-in-law here. She moved here a couple years ago before we even had kids. She's a huge help to us, especially on the weekends, but she works throughout the week. So For the past couple of years, we've had a nanny who comes twice a week, and usually those are on days when I'm in the office, and so that's helpful. But it's really just a very small group, and so I would love a village, and I hope, you know, I hope one day like my kids can have that, but because we're having a big family clearly, but for now it's a small group, and so and it's doable, but it takes a lot of effort for sure.
Do you think, because obviously you have a little flex situation going where you can be at home and be in the office.
That is
Um,
so helpful.
did COVID kind of was that? I mean, I don't want to say COVID was helpful, but like, was
Usher
it?
it in.
Yeah,
It did. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Reliant and our parent company, Energy, I'm employed by Energy. So we have had a flexible work environment even before COVID, where you could just have an agreement with your manager. Oh, I'm working from home one day a week or whatnot. But COVID definitely changed things, and it's kind of here to stay. The hybrid work model, 2 to 3 days. Currently, we're going to 3 days in a couple months. In November in the office, and so it is, managing that, but I thrive with that flexibility. I do not think I would be as good of a mother or as good of a professional if it was this very rigid work environment. I wouldn't thrive, and so I have to have that, and that's been thankfully the case.
that's amazing because I think that's so important. We've seen it with my husband work
Yes.
from home. Um, I mean, like a handful of days a week, maybe like 2 days a week. And then he
Hmm.
goes, but he finds when he goes, he's more impactful when he's there. And then he on his days off, or not days off, his days home, he's able to get a lot of stuff done in a
A lot
really
of
short
stuff
amount of
done.
time. And
Yes, because when we go into the office, it's chit-chatting and, "Oh, let's go grab lunch," or it's just meeting after meeting after meeting, and so, like, for example, I was in the office yesterday, and I got hardly no I was sitting at my computer for hardly no time, or if I was on a call, not actually able to get work done, right? And so it those that's beneficial, that collaboration in the office, seeing your colleagues, building
yeah,
those relationships, it's absolutely beneficial. But I do really like the hybrid work model because I am able to have my focus time, right? When I'm at home in my work office and just
yeah,
able to get put my head down and do the work. So
yeah.
I really like it. I think it is hopefully here to stay, God willing. And
I don't
it's
think
been
they
good.
could go back now. Like
I I don't think so. Yeah.
I had a meeting outside today of my office, if you will, which is my house,
Yeah.
and I was like, I had to put on hard pants, is what I call it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this doesn't seem right.
This doesn't
Um,
feel right, yeah.
I like my loungewear. What can I say? Um, so we've talked kind of a little bit about the rewarding parts of that. What are some additional challenges that you faced with having you have
Balancing motherhood
three under
and
five?
careers. 3, 5, and under. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say just as a mother, most rewarding part has been honestly the sense of purpose that motherhood has given me. So I have a very clear understanding of why I do the things I do, and I
Mhm.
think knowing that and knowing what matters at the end of the day has really helped me be driven so that I know where I wanna go, and why I wanna go there, and honestly, just to be, excelling in that and doing the next best thing. That said, the most challenging aspects of balancing everything, I think, is like splitting the mind space, right? Like sometimes I just feel like I don't have enough headspace, mind
Yeah.
space for all of it. As you said, 5, well, 3, 5 and under. They're all very
Mhm.
young. Yeah, they're all very young, and so for this period of time, I am everything to them, which I love. I want to be. It's rewarding to be their person that they need, that they look to for literally everything, but that's also often the challenge, right? So each one, they're at a different stage. They need something different from me. Um, Sometimes it's all at the same time. One may be in the bathroom needing a booty wipes, and one may be desperately needing to find where his lovey is, where the other one just really wants to be held.
Yeah.
And so it's like sometimes all of that comes in. crashing in. So just, balancing their needs, my needs, the needs of my job, the needs of our home, uh, finding time for all of it. Sometimes things get pushed to the side, and sometimes there's times where, I feel like I'm super mom and I'm like just chugging through getting it all done. But I have learned to just embrace the chaos.
You would have to, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
like, you you've chosen the path of maybe, you can walk through hell or sprint through hell,
Yeah.
and you're on the sprint path, and,
Yep.
which is great,
Which
and
is scary because I want more children. And I'm like, oh, but it's
oh,
also, we'll see. We'll
okay.
see. God willing. But it's like I'm doing it to myself. I know what I'm getting into. But
No, but
the
I think
payoff is, yeah,
you're such a natural at it that, I mean,
thank you.
motherhood looks really good on you,
Thank
um,
you.
which
That's
I
a
think
huge compliment.
I mean, but it's true, like, you can tell that you truly love it, and so
I
but
do.
that being said, so when the kids coming around you and somebody needs a lovey, somebody needs a hug, somebody needs booty wet, that's a lot of drain on mom, and so what
Hmm.
do you do for you? What
For
does
me time.
Megan's day look like if you're gonna treat yourself, or how do you just mentally unwind where you're not thinking about work and you're not thinking about kids?
I would say I do not have the answers for this because I struggle pretty hard. And I think I'm okay with it. Like I am at peace with it because I know everything is a season.
Mm,
And right now I am in my young kid season and I want to be and I want to continue to be here. Like I have accepted that. That said, there are definitely days where I'm just like, I'm gonna go get a pedicure and an iced latte, and then I may walk around Target or Ulta. Those are kind of things like the just very simple off the cuff things that I can do pretty easily, right? If I want a little bit more time away, we got to plan for it a little bit. Mother-in-law will come over and help watch the boys. I love to go. My husband is a big fisherman and hunter, and I love to go with him on those things. That's not often, but that I enjoy, or just dinner with friends. Just a couple months ago, it was our 10-year anniversary. We went to Alaska, and that took a lot of planning. It was like a year in advance of planning, of
mm,
preparing to leave the kids, all of them, which we had never done before. But that was the first time in 5 years of parenthood where we got to say, let's put, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. Let's put ourselves first. We cannot be what we need to be for our children if we're not a team and together and on the same page. And so it was really nice to just celebrate our anniversary that way and be together, but it definitely took a lot of planning. So yeah, so there's that. It's like different levels, right, of me
yeah.
time, and but most of the time it's just like I'm gonna go grab a coffee and get a pedicure.
Yeah, it's the little wins, right? Like, even that can
Hmm.
allow you like a 15-minute reset, which is really important.
Yeah.
But I love what you said about kind of prioritizing y'all too, to go
Yeah.
to Alaska, even though it is a lot of work.
It
Did
is a
you
lot of work.
find anything that was super helpful as you were planning to get away? So for
Hmm.
parents who are thinking about like, oh gosh, I could never leave, what made it a little bit easier for you?
Yeah, I think, it's just really our priorities of making sure that we put our relationship, our marriage first. We want our children to see that and to know that we prioritize each other, and that's beneficial for the family, right? That's beneficial for them, it's beneficial for mama and dada, for everyone if we do that. And so it took, like I said, a lot of planning a year in advance, and just really thinking through like what does the day look like when we're not here. We planned it when the boys were out of school, so it was the very beginning of summer. My mother-in-law, obviously she had to take off work a couple of days, but like it was planned around Memorial Day, so she had a day where she was already going to be off work just to help with her PTO. um, and then our nanny, she has certain days that she's already planning to be here, so it was kind of like swapping in swapping out, so she didn't have to take my mother-in-law didn't have to take those days off. So it was a lot of just like, okay, who is watching the kids from what time? They're kind of going in and out. And then talking with our kids about like we're gonna be gone, we're taking some time to, be together, so that when the time came, there was no like major issues or breakdowns or anything. They were excited for us, and we did FaceTime, and it was great. By the end of it, I was emotionally like on the in the Uber back to our house. I was emotionally overcome, and like I really wanted to just scream at the Uber driver, like, why are you going 40 in a 30? You know what I mean? Go 50, like, go
Oh.
even faster, and I was just, like by the time I got home, it was literally, like, I could not help myself, the tears were just flowing because I was just, like, so excited to see them, and so that was also really nice because it was a break away from the kids and just, like, you were just so ready and so excited to get back to them, and it just makes you appreciate them even more.
Oh, I love that y'all were able to make that happen. And so,
Yeah,
something that I've talked to with a handful of people about is just like the mom guilt. I think we can carry that pretty strongly with us.
yeah,
And so like I know you might have kids running around right now. Um, how do
I've had
you
other
how do you talk to them about what mom does? And uh,
yeah.
you called yourself mama. Like, how do you talk to them, so that they understand and like respect that? I mean, yes, you're their mom, but you're also, an employee and a wife and all of those things. What does that look like for
Yeah.
you?
Going back to communication, right? We just have conversations about it. So, I mean, I'm telling them very often, mama's on a phone call. They can see, the AirPods. And they usually know when those are in, like, keep your voices down or like, don't, throw a ball at my face, which, we'll see if they actually listen to that. But, it's a lot of be just being very truthful with them. Like, mama's got a phone call. I have a work event. I've got to take, some travel for work. Dada's at work, and really trying to help them understand like what that does on their level for them. And so, oftentimes it's we do this, mama's at work, dada's at work because we want to provide for our family. And, thinking about like we live in our home, right? We can go visit the Lego store, we can go out for ice cream, we can go to the beach. All of those things cost money. And so mama and dada work very hard so that we can provide those things. And I think they are, at least the oldest one. And now honestly the middle, he's starting to get it now too, but it does kind of click for them like, oh, mama has to work. And then we go to the Lego store and it's like, well, maybe we don't spend all our money on Legos. But yeah,
Right.
basically they get the kind of gist of it. So it's just a lot of talking about it with them, and we're pretty, open about that.
I think that's so important. And that's something we try to do too with our kids. And like sometimes it's just hard when they see you at home and you may be working from home in your sweatpants as one does. They're
See you
like,
as normal. Yeah.
are you really working? Yes, mom
Yeah.
actually does work.
Yeah.
And so do you deal with any particular type of mom guilt, or is that something you've been able to kind of release?
Um, I wouldn't say that it's just been something that like drains on me, but there are definitely times where I feel like and it feels like I'm just not even doing enough, right? Like at home, like I feel like this is crazy to say, but like if the house is not clean, and sometimes I'm like, okay, it's time to hire a cleaner. I feel guilty like about that, like, oh, I didn't do what I needed to do at home, and then I'm like, but wait, you're doing a lot of other things, and so
Yes.
sometimes it's okay to outsource that. But it's not something I would say that really weighs on me because I do feel like for the most part I'm just giving it 100% all the time. Um, so that's,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's so good. Because I know, I mean, a lot of us kind of struggle, well, or a little bit with like imposter syndrome and all of that.
yeah,
Like, are we enough? So
yeah,
I think it's great that you're able to like speak into yourself and hopefully,
yeah.
friends who are speaking that truth into you too. I know it's been helpful for me to like follow really positive people like on Instagram.
Mhm.
Instead of like the people who are like, it's easy to like dump on momhood. Like
Yeah,
it's an easy dump, but
there is
like
a lot of that, um, where they're just kind of ratting on motherhood, and those can be really funny, right? Like,
Mhm.
I'm scrolling
Yeah.
Instagram late at night, and it is hilarious because it's like, "Oh, I get that," but also, there's so much beauty in it, and it is such a gift to be a mother, and so, I try not to if I am enjoying those, I also try to just keep it very light, right? Like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I love this role, and I love my children, and I love being there for them and doing all the things, even if sometimes I'm just, worn out, right? Like, I wanted this, and I love it so much, and I know it's gonna go so fast. I think, I always say time is a thief, and I feel that so deeply, like, and every season, I was saying it earlier, like, there's a season for everything, right? But, like, the seasons, they just go so quickly, like, we're struggling right now with the little one, he's 18 months. 18 months, I honestly, it's not my favorite age, it's just he is everywhere, he's very busy,
Yeah.
he is climbing constantly, he sees his big brothers, he wants to do what they can do, right? But he can't yet, he can't really communicate yet, like, he just doesn't have the vocabulary, and he's just not strong enough to do all the things, but he wants to. And so this age is always really tough for me. That said, I know it's going to pass very quickly, and when it does, I'm probably going to miss it. Like because I think about like my middle one, Theodore. He is 3 years old now, and he feels so old. He feels like a big kid because he's got his big brother, and he's always been a step ahead. I feel like because he does have a big brother, but I mean, it was just yesterday that he was the exact same way as the baby now. Like he was climbing over everything. And now I look at him, I'm like, he doesn't he still climbs over everything, but he can handle himself more now and he has,
Yeah.
he can talk and he can do all the things, right? So it's like just goes so fast. And so I just have to enjoy every stage. At some point, the little one is not gonna want me to rock him every single night and be a stage 3 clinger and, because he very much is. Um, but I love it and I just wanna enjoy it, and so just trying to find the joy in it.
No. Well, you obviously are. So, yes, I can attest super fast.
Super
Um,
fast.
I don't know. I don't even know where
You
the
blink.
I
Yeah.
blinked and I have kids playing football and it's wild. Oh my goodness, I can't
Mhm.
wait for all of your kids to be like and seeing you
It's
like shuttle
well,
between all the schools.
we're just now getting to that point, somewhat, right? So we just started T-ball, and so the oldest one is in like he moved up to official T-ball, but the little one or the middle one is in instructional T-ball. So it's two different divisions, different
Yeah.
practice times, different game times. I mean, just it's the first week, and so we're actually having to miss some of the games because we're going to be out of town this weekend. But it'll be interesting. I haven't fully gotten a big taste of it yet, but I see it coming, and I
Yeah.
know it's gonna just continue to get worse and worse. But you want to give each of them the opportunities to to learn, to grow, to thrive. So
Yeah. And
we'll
to do
we'll deal
whatever
with it.
yeah, do whatever their passion is, right? That's the other
That's
thing
right.
I learned is just like I thought Quinn was gonna be my Quinn is 14, and I thought she was gonna be like super soccer star. Um, Not saying I
She's
was a
like what
soccer
photographer, like
she
yearbook,
loves
right?
photography and
That's so
yearbook,
cool.
and she loves basketball. And we aren't like big stock, but she loves it so much. And so that's her passion. And I thought, well, I was a soccer player, so of course she's going to play soccer. And you just
Right.
stop, releasing your projections on your kids because they're
Yeah,
going to lead the way.
I very much want them to play baseball because I played softball and I
Yeah.
love the game. But my husband never played baseball. He always played football, and he wants so badly to put them in football. I'm scared of that a little bit for all the reasons. Um, we may offer it up and give it a go and see what they think of it. But my oldest, he really I don't know if he's gonna be the sports kid. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
loves to build. He loves to do things with his hands, Legos and magnetiles and like building things. That's where he kind of really enjoys what he really enjoys. He still wants to do t-ball right now, and so we're letting him do that and whatnot. But like I definitely could see him taking a different path, and that's totally fine. Just trying to encourage whatever they want to do.
Yeah, nurture that. Um, well, I've loved you've shared so many great tips, and so many valuable things that I think a lot of our younger moms will relate to and can be
Yeah,
encouraged by that it is a season. I think that
it is.
is truly, truly important to remember. And it kind of seems like we always say that and it seems cliche, but it really is. Like
It really is.
and a new one
You
is
gotta
gonna
let it blend, you know? I mean, because these seasons, they go by so quickly, and to be a working mother, I personally feel like, and, others may disagree, right? But, like, I have to let it blend, like, I have
mm,
to be able to be a mom full time, but also be a professional, do both. And so, I mean, that's just what kind of works for me. But I think, you know, like I said, seasons, it's all going to pass. This too shall pass. Like it all goes so fast. And so just really leaning into the chaos a little bit,
oh,
letting everything come together.
into the chaos. Speaking of chaos, so we're gonna do a little rapid fire. And my
Sure.
first question is something that can be a little chaotic, especially if you have three under five. So, favorite restaurant in the Houston area to take the boys to?
To take the boys. There's Little Macs, which we really like, and then you can just walk right over to Tiny's and grab a cookie, and so that's always fun.
Love Little Mats. Oh, and Tiny's is a favorite. Um,
Mhm.
okay. So you need a meal on the table, something everybody will eat. What does that look like for y'all?
It's probably quesadillas. The easiest thing, the HEB tortillas, I you can't go wrong. And then, obviously, usually try and put a little bit of protein in them, just to get that in there, but those are very quick and easy. Everyone loves
Oh,
them.
perfect. Favorite place to go in Houston with your family?
With the family, I think right now, because we are deep into our Lego era, it's probably like Bricks and Minifigs or, like the Lego store. We've just been finding ourselves there a lot lately, and we all enjoy it. It's something the whole family enjoys, so that's really nice. But, we love to also go park hopping. There's a bunch of parks. We live in Pearland, so there's, little neighborhood parks, but there's also, like, Fire Truck Park that we love to go, actually go in town to, or Levy Park or whatnot. So love to go to some parks.
Yes, we have a great park guide up too. We'll link it in the comments. So
I was gonna say there's one in Katy that I really want to go to. The one we went by one time and it was just like there was like mini birthdays going on. It was like a Saturday. It's the wrong time to go. And so we just found something else. But I really want to go to it. I can't remember what it's called, but it's
the
beautiful.
Exploration Park.
That's the one. Yeah,
Oh, it's such a
yeah,
great park. They also
yeah.
have some sensory friendly things over there. So, our friends who have kids with a little bit more sensory or like autism, they also have sensory
Yep.
friendly things there. It's a great park. Katie's
Yep,
lucky to
there's one in Pearland that's the same way. It's pretty brand new. Opened
it's
last year, I believe.
it's so good. I mean, I love how all of these things have evolved, where we didn't have that before.
It is great.
Okay, we kind of hit on this earlier, but favorite thing to do, Megan gets 1 hour and she gets out of the house. What does she do?
Pedicure, latte, and honestly, just probably sitting there scrolling on my phone, checking social, which I hate to say, but like it is what it is. If I've got alone time and downtime, that's a good time to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm always on the socials. And so, I
Yeah,
enjoy a
yeah.
good social scroll, especially if I'm not having to do it with work. And then last one, favorite thing about being a mom.
I think it's the opportunity to to shape someone's childhood. So I think back about my childhood, what really shaped me as a person, and I had a really good example of what a mother shouldn't be, but I also was really blessed to have a good example of what a mother should be, and that was in my Mimi, my grandmother. And so like as I've aged, I only unfortunately got 18 years with her, but as I've aged, specific memories they get hazy over time. But you always remember how someone makes you feel, right? And well, and so I I think back to how that woman made me feel, and I just never felt more loved, right? And she always was so endlessly proud of me, and cared for me so well. And so I think looking ahead to my children growing up and thinking back on their childhood, I want them to have that experience, right? But with their mama. I want them to know that like my love, like feel very secure in my love and my passion for them, and always know that it's like it's never secondary, it's never conditional. Like you can't do anything to like unhave like, to not have it, right? It will be with you for life. And so I really want that for them. You have to nurture that day in and day out. And so just that opportunity to really shape someone's childhood and be such a driving force in their life, I think is really it's awesome to just have that, and it's just an important role. I want to get it right, and so it's I think that's probably my favorite part, just having such an influence in someone's life.
Mm, very good.
I know.
Uh,
Ugh,
I know, but you mentioned earlier that you're an emotional mama who wears that badge proudly.
I do.
Um, and I am as well. So I always appreciate somebody who can kind of like wear it here.
Yep.
And because this is the biggest thing I'm convinced that we'll do in our lives.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It is the most important role, I think, in society, and it doesn't get the credit that it should, right? But it is the fabric of like the entire world of making sure the people who are being brought up, the future generation are being brought up, are well cared for, are nurtured, are loved, and that starts with their parents.
Yeah.
So,
Raise good humans. I
yep,
mean, that's such a simple thing, but whoa, what a task.
it's a
Because
task. Yeah, it is a task.
we won't always get it right, but we're going to die trying to get it right, I think.
I
Every
think.
single time. It was so fun to chat with you and
I
hear more
know.
about your backstory. Um, I appreciate you sharing what you have so candidly about how challenging it is to be a working mom with a big role, but also with a big role at home too, and balancing the two. I
Yeah.
know it's not easy. So thank you for sharing with us.
I enjoy it. I love talking motherhood, and it's just such a privilege. So I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, it was so fun. We will be back next month with another Houston mom on the move. Again, our series profiling high impact mamas in and around the Houston area, just like Megan and our other guests that we've had on. So thank you so much for joining, and we will see you next month.